Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, a divorce valuation expert in St. Louis, Missouri. During this episode, we will discuss many questions about divorce court and valuation with TJ Liles-Tims, a fellow testifying expert witness and valuation expert in Oklahoma City. That kind of coincides with settlement negotiations. So I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about, most people when they file for the divorce, they just think that they're going to go straight to trial. They know that there's a lot of steps involved. But do you get involved in some of the settlement negotiations in the divorce cases that are you kind of sometimes like we're the quarterback kind of in those situations?
It depends. The famous answer, it depends. I don't get into a lot of those discussions. What parts that I do get involved are if, a mediator starts raising questions about my valuation versus the other experts, then maybe I get involved to say, okay, well, the other expert considered this, and here's why that's not appropriate, and I considered it in this manner. So from that perspective, I get into settlement negotiations. But as it relates to, okay, should I take, you valued the business at 2 million, should I take 1.75? It kind of depends, really. I mean, it goes back to me basically giving that range. If I don't give a range in every single case, but
Sure.
To the extent that it's warranted. For instance, if I do the income approach and it develops one value, and I have enough market comps, and then I do a valuation on the market comps, and it's within a margin of error of the two, then absolutely I'll say, look, under this approach, it was 1.5. Under the income approach, it was 1.6. And so my opinion is that it's somewhere between 1.5 and 1.6. Now, I'm not going to come in and say market approach is 1 million, income approach is 5 million, and this is the range. I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous. But if it's within a margin of error, I'm going to provide that range. And so in those instances, then I may feel better about saying, 1.75 may, I could see that being reasonable. But if I have come up with a number of 2.1 million, and that's what I think the value is, I try to be very careful about saying, yeah, I think 1.75 is reasonable, because I'm so cautious of, will that be thrown at me at a later point in time?
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends.
But I think that, but I think that what you're saying is valid. Like I might have an opinion of an exact number, but they can see in the approaches, and I can testify to, here's where the income approach was, here's where the market approach is, and judge anything within there is reasonable, because then it gives them the capability of picking a number, because they want to have some control. But it also, to your point, does give some credence to the fact that it is hard to come up with one particular number, especially if you could give the same valuation to 5 valuation experts, and we would literally all come up with 5 different numbers.
Right.
They would hopefully be in that reasonable range.
Right.
But it correlates in a judge's mind or an attorney's mind that, okay, so there's not like one perfect answer, but there is a reasonable range that we should all fall in.
Right.
But we're still in the business of kind of duking it out, because there are ways to make the valuation be a number that somebody wants. The problem is it may seem like you've tricked somebody from the business owner's perspective, but the rest of us who do this all the time, nobody's tricked. Like everybody's going to be like, oh, you used a cap rate of 40%. That's probably not right for this. Like there'll be some big red flags that will give us away.